Noteboard Gamers, and welcome back to Noteboard Gaming. I'm your host, I'm Mark. Things you don't need me to tell you are just how much I love The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era from Chip Theory Games. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I've classed it as my favourite game of all time. And that's not without some small measure. I've put well over 100 hours into The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. It really does everything just comes together for me for a gaming experience. I've got these campaigns, these multiple campaigns you can play, which, they don't take over my life. Or if they do, they're for a relatively short period. You've got the variant kind of character builds that are in the game as well, the various characters you can have, and their skill lines, and their races, and their kind of attributes, etc. And trust me, I played around with most of them, if not all of them, in one form or another. So, as you're very, 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 very aware, if you're watching this video, currently on Gamefound is the campaign for all the expansion stuff, the Heroes of Tamriel, the Fur and Fang, the Elsewhere and Summer Isle expansions to it. It's all on Gamefound right now. It's probably only a couple of days left once you've watched this video, which doesn't matter. You can watch this video after the campaign's finished and go to the Pledge Manager and still pledge for it then if you like it. So I'm a huge The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era fan. About 4 weeks ago, I was invited over to Chip Theory's offices. You might have seen some of the videos as well, and certainly if you've seen Chip Theory's video, you'll see me on that video as well, to play with the new expansion stuff, as well as lots of other games as well, along with some other content creators. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to talk about the game and how wonderful it is and all the mechanisms, etc. You don't need to hear all that. I'm going to show you what I've been given so far in terms of what's in these new expansions. Now, I will say that, since I was given this, lots of unlocks and lots of things being added to it. I wasn't given the new area maps because they hadn't got all the cards ready for them. But I've got some new classes. I've got some new kind of abilities. I've got some new skills, etc. So we're going to look at those in a little bit of depth and show you exactly some of the stuff that you're going to get with the expansions for The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era from Chip Theory Games. Trust me, if you're a fan of the game, this just adds so much more variability to kind of your character builds. And one of the key fun things about the game is messing around with those character builds and understanding what you can do. You may want to have, I don't know, an orc who's an acrobat kind of thing, who's very good with dual weapons. I don't know, whatever you want, you can build them whichever way you want, and that's part of the fun of the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, is just playing around with these things and seeing what kind of characters you create. So I'll drop you down to the table and I'll show you some of the stuff that you can expect to see in the expansion. Not expect to see, it's probably been announced by now, and there's loads more stuff being added since they sent me this through. Since I picked this up from my trip to Minneapolis a few weeks ago. So let's have a look at kind of what you get. So below me, you can see a table full of new stuff. And what I'll do is I'll go through kind of each of the races, we'll go through the classes, we'll go through the skill lines, and I'll show you some of the dice in the box, etc. But in reality, I just want to give you kind of an up-close look at exactly kind of how these new races and classes and skill lines are looking. Now, I will say that there are going to be there are going to be 2 copies of each one of these as well. That means that you can now get people playing the same kind of race within Elder Scrolls as well. So let's start off over here. We have the Wood Elf. Here we go. We can see the chip for the Wood Elf here. Bear in mind, this is all kind of early prototype stuff as well, so none of it is finalized. And if we look at the Wood Elf sheet here, we can see that the Wood Elf has got a resist affliction here. So once per battle, at any time, you may remove up to 3 status dice or over fatigue from your cooldown track. It may be split between the 2, gaining 1 tenacity for each die removed. So that's kind of good. That gives you an ability to kind of manage your over fatigue and also get a reward off the back end of it. There. So then we go on to the Khajiit. So let's look at the Khajiit chip. Here we go. You can see the Khajiit chip. One of my favourites from the game as well. So some nice artwork there of the Khajiit. And if we look here, we've got Lunar Blessing. And Lunar Blessing says, once per battle, at any time, heal party members inside for a collective total of 5 hit points. Excellent. Here we go. Now we have the Dark Elf. I've had a lot of fun with Dark Elves. I created a really good character with the Dark Elf. And then a particular card came along, the Wabberjack attack, which then made me change race at that point. Here we go. We've got Ruination. Once per battle, deal true damage to an adjacent enemy equal to its defense stat. Oh, ooh, that's kind of powerful, that, isn't it? I like that one. I like that one. Then we got the High Elf. High and Mighty Elf. Here we go. And this one on the High Elf says it's got Elemental Talent. Once per battle, when performing an engage, add one status die to your roll for that engage. You may apply this die to any unit in sight. If you apply it to yourself, gain 1 tenacity. So that's good. You can actually apply status dice to anybody in sight, which can be really, really powerful in terms of combating them, but also may help them out as well. You know, think about putting a stealth die on one of your colleagues, on one of your allies. Here we've got the Argonian. You can see the chip there for the Argonian. And what they've got Resourceful. Once per battle, after you use a food item or expend a potion, you may draw one, I think that's standard, isn't it, that? One item and place it into your pack. Then you may move any one item from your pack into a ready slot. That's good. I mean, that's good. That allows you then to kind of switch and change mid-battle there. Here we have the Breton. There we go. And Breton has Spell Attunement. Once per battle, after dice are rolled for any reason, gain 1 over fatigue to set one rolled die to the side of your choice. If the die you set is one you rolled, gain 1 light fatigue instead. Oh, that's good. So that allows you to kind of manipulate your dice basically and have a look at that. It could cost you, but that's pretty good. Here we got the Imperial. You can see the Imperial chip just here. Fantastic. Okay. And the Imperial says they've got Diplomat. Once per battle, on your turn, choose an adjacent level 1 or 5 enemy. This unit becomes a companion controlled by you until the end of the round. Well, it can be really, really, really powerful. You've got to get adjacent to them. That's not always where you want to be, or necessarily easy sometimes as well. But that's a really, really good ability to have. Okay, next we've got the Orc. Okay, so you can have a heavy weapons Orc who's an acrobat. Just play around with these with these builds as you want. There we go, that's the Orc. And what have they got? They've got Unflinching Rage. And it says, once per battle, after being dealt damage, gain bonus HP or recover level 1 red skill type dice equal to the damage dealt. Oh, okay. This may be split between the two. Wow, okay, so that's good. So that allows you to then kind of get benefit from dealing lots of damage. Probably an ability that you want to kind of keep until you've got a decent amount of damage to do. And here we have the Nord. There we go, we can see the chip for the Nord there. And what's the Nord's ability? And the Nord is rugged. Rugged Nords. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Once per battle, when a party member would be defeated, gain over fatigue equal to that unit's HP, and the unit loses no HP and is not defeated. So that is about kind of, you know, somebody's delivered almost a killing blow to them. But no, you're going to take that from them and you're going to kind of absorb that, but it's going to cost you with over fatigue. And here we got the Red Guard, okay? There we go. You can see the Red Guard. At the moment, it's the same artwork on both sides. Don't know if that's going to change. And here we got Martial Training. Once per battle, when an enemy engages you, gain 1 tenacity. You may overtax a armor this engage without discarding it as well. Okay, so we can see that they've all got these really wonderful abilities, new chips with them as well. So that's kind of the races there, but let's look at the various classes that we have now. Okay, I'll say there's more of these that's come out at the moment. Now I'm not going to read through all these. Let's read through their abilities, then I'll scan up the card and you can see it. Okay, so this says, upgrade. In a single battle, defeat an enemy while in each of the following battle forms. Okay, fine, all right. So you've got to change battle forms in the enemy, in one particular battle, from obviously dual-handed, single-handed, and ranged, basically. If you do all three in a single battle, you get to upgrade. Here we go. It's got this passive here. When engaging in these battles, in these battle stances, you may add one free available combat skill die to your roll. And as you go up, you can see on Novice, everything that can happen as you spend tenacity. There we go. We'll flip that over to the master side. So this is a master warrior. And it says when engaging in these, you may add one free available level 1 skill die to your roll. Yeah, okay. I think that's the same. Right, okay. And you can see the tenacity that you would have to spend on the master side, and all these abilities start to get better and better. Remember, something like enduring, if you've got that amount of tenacity in your player board, then that is active. You don't spend the tenacity for that. That is active as long as you've got that amount of tenacity there. So there we go. That's the warrior, master, and novice side. Okay. Then we'll look at the mage. Okay, and the mage, to upgrade the mage from novice, it says fill an entire attribute row with the magicka type skill dice. Okay, and here we go. It says when engaging in magicka, you may roll one more die than your magicka stat. Oh, that's cool. Okay, and here we go. We can see as we go up here the tenacity. We got undo. We got mage light. We got acceleration. We got time stop, and we got Meteor, deal true damage equal to your magicka stat to a targetable enemy. True damage! Oh, that's powerful. Okay, and here on the mage, on the other side, it says here, again, you may roll one more die than your magicka stat, and you may treat your magicka stat as if it was your stamina stat as well. That's good. Okay, and you can see these are all really upgraded. Yeah? Excellent. Nice. Okay, then we go to the Berserker. Okay, and on the novice side it says to upgrade, defeat a level 20 or quest enemy while you have 1 health point left. Oh my god. And it says here, at the start of your turn, if you're not in full HP, at full HP, you must roll the rage die. Then resolve a free class ability with a tenacity cost matching the rolled result if possible. Wow. Okay. An ability triggered by the rage die may still be triggered during your turn for its tenacity cost as usual. Okay, this is all about kind of, you're up there, you're really raging. Stuff's going to be a little bit chaotic as you do this. And we can see the tenacity cost here for continuous attack, for vigor, combat frenzy, reach, and charging maneuver. As we flip it over, there we go. It says it's the same again, and at the end it says after defeating an opposing unit, gain 1 bonus HP. So you're going to get something back from that, and we can see the upgraded on the master side just there. Okay, then we're going to look at the thief. The thief says, to upgrade, while you have at least 1 of the yellow type skill dice trained for each of the 4 levels, successfully resolve a steal from the shop down square action. Okay, wow, you are a thief after all, yeah? It says here, when deploying yourself at the start of a clash, you may gain light fatigue to deploy in any unoccupied hex. Because, of course, these are agile. These have to be. So they're snuck in. They've got to a place that's of most advantage to them. Here we go. We can see the nasty costs here for extra pockets, shadow image, misdirection, poison injection, and dark vigor. Okay. And on the master side here, when deploying yourself at the start of the clash, you may gain light fatigue in any occupied hex. If you deploy adjacent to a level 10 or a 20 enemy, draw 1 common item, basically. Excellent. You can see upgrades just there. So that's the thief. We'll have a look now at the witch hunter. Okay, on the novice side, to upgrade, you've got to expend 3 or more potions in a single battle. So they will have, this is all about collecting potions then. And at the start of a battle, draw 1 level 1 enemy and place it on this sheet. During this battle, when engaging in an enemy of the same time, add enemy combat dice to the engage equal to the combat stat of the chip on this card. And during the battle cleanup, return the chip to its bag. Okay, so that is about kind of using things around you and bewitching them, I suppose. And we can see the tenacity costs as we go through here. Focusing. And over here it says you do the same thing. Draw 2 level 1 enemies though here on the master side, and there we can see the tenacity cost. So this allows you to bewitch them and effectively use their combat dice, which is fantastic. Right, then we have the assassin here on the novice side. It says to upgrade, defeat a quest enemy, unmarked target or quest enemy, defeat quest enemy, unmarked target or quest enemy, marked target. So it's giving you very specific things to do there. You're an assassin. Of course, you're going to have contracts basically, and that's why it's doing that. And it says at the start of each mission, add quest enemy, unmarked target and marked target to either enemy bag. When this unit is drawn from the bag to deploy it to the unmarked target side without subtracting from the EP. If the enemy was not defeated by you specifically, return it to its bag during battle cleanup. Oh my god. So yeah, you specifically have got to kill exactly the right one there. And here we go, the tenacity costs. We have surprise attack, we have ambush, we have relentless focus, we have scales of pitiless justice. And here we go, after you gain a stealth status die, you place 1 HP chip here, and this is your focus stack. And here we go, it talks about focus here, yeah? So there's no focus on the novice side because you killed them, so now you're super focused, and your things change. Move 1 hex and gain 1 focus, perform a fear engage. There we go. Move 1 chip from your focus stack to defeat 1 level 1 enemy, or 5 chips to defeat a level 5 enemy. That's really, really cool. Gain 1 focus and a stealth status die. Remove any number of chips from your focus stack to roll that many dice. And down at your enduring, if you've got 4 or more, when dealing damage to an enemy, you may remove any number of chips from your focus stack to ignore that much defense on the enemy. So those are the classes that I was given as well. Now, of course, we're now going to move on to skill lines, okay? And in the various expansions, I think split up over a number of them. There are standard ones, and then there are what's called afflictions as well. So afflictions are the werewolf and the vampire, okay? So that's these two here. Now, afflictions, you can't choose them as a skill line. At some point in the game, if you include these in there, then what may happen is you may well get afflicted, and that's when these come to play. So there's going to be specific cards that will do that. In the games that we played whilst at Chip Theory, they gave us characters that had these already, but when you're using this expansion, you will put certain cards into certain decks, and that could then cause you to become afflicted. So let's have a look at the afflictions first. So first of all, we've got the werewolf here. Once trained, this skill line cannot be untrained unless specifically stated by a game text. The skill line cannot be trained by an adventurer who already has an afflicted skill line trained, and with the exception of the transformation die itself, werewolf skill die cannot be rolled unless the transformation die is in one of your active slots. Now, trust me, I played a character that was a werewolf when I was over there, and I had so much fun. It allows you to bounce over the map, and you're ripping throats out, and it was so much fun. I was literally howling from it. Okay, so it talks about kind of what the transformation die does there on level 1, what the feral pounce is, what the claws of anguish are, and what savage strength is. These are all level 1 on this affliction die. As we flip it over, well, they're all level 1. There we go, they're on level 1. We have Blood Moon. We have Howl of Agony. Resolve any number of the following abilities once, losing 1 HP for each resolved. And then we have Devour. Discard an item to recover 1 combat skill die. Then heal yourself for 3 hit points. If that item was a common item, or 4 hit points if it was a, what's it called, advanced loot, can't remember the name, uncommon, any excess hit points is gained as bonus HP, or you can gain 2 tenacity, or immediately roll 1 free combat skill die from anywhere on your mat, adding it to your engage. So remember, for werewolf, you must roll the transformation die. You must transform into a werewolf, and I think, I can't remember whether you roll it all the time, but there is a way to transform back. Yeah. Okay. Then we look at the vampire. It tells you the same thing about the Afflicted there. You can't be trained. When exhausting the Blood Scion die outside of your engage actions, place it in your cooldown track with a tenacity result showing. Okay, so I played as the vampire and I wanted more. Not from the character's great, playing as this. I wanted to play the vampire mode. Just like I did the werewolf. The werewolf's a tank. He just goes in there. The vampire operates very differently. You can see a lot of subtleties coming out of the play of a vampire here. So there we go. We've got the level 1 vampire die, which is feed. Deal 1 damage to adjacent enemy. This damage is true damage when dealt to human enemies. I think that is, yeah. Then remove a Bane status die from your cooldown track. Then we have Mist Form. Swap enemies with swap hexes with targetable enemy, deal damage, swap hexes, gain a Bane status die, or drain this die. So you can see that there's some give and take on this, right? But you do run the risk of obviously gaining a Bane status die, and you can see there's 2 of those icons on that die. Then we have Mesmerize, which is all about kind of gain status dice, day status die. There's another one here. You're going to gain a Bane status die. You can see this Bane status dice. Here we go. If we flip it over onto level 3, there's another one here on Blood Scion. Okay. While it's in your cooldown track before rolling your dice each engage, you may select a gathered skill die. Any damage by that die disengage with true damage. As we go down to Blood Frenzy, you can see it gets a little bit more down here, which is healing, but of course you're going to gain a Bane status die. And then you've got Vampiric Drain at level 4 down here. If you are adjacent to any non-quest unit, heal to full HP, then choose an adjacent non-quest unit to lose HP equal to the amount you healed. You can drain your allies, basically. You're a vampire. You're out for blood. Maybe you just need to get some blood to finish the game. You might want to drain your allies, basically. So that allows you to do that. But guess what? You could also roll a Bane status die. So the ability to remove Bane status die, you've got to kind of do these things, then feed and get rid of those Bane status dies at the same time. So those are the 2 afflictions. Let's have a look now at some of the others that we have here, okay? So these are the others here. I'm not going to do these in much detail. So we have a medium armor here, which is level 1 die. You can see it's got evasion. And of course you can pause at any point to read any of this. Hopefully you can. At level 2, we have shuffle. At level 3, we have elude. As we flip that over, this is a stamina skill line. We have agility. We have athletics. And we have dexterity. Okay, so that's that. Then we have dual wield, which again is another stamina one here. And you can see at level 1, we have twin slashers. And we also have dual wield expert. Let's bring that a bit closer. Then at level 2, we have flying blade. As I flip that over, we have whirlwind. Deal X damage to each adjacent enemy after disengage. If at least one enemy was defeated, recover this die. Oh, that's good to get to recover it. Otherwise, you're going to exhaust the die there. Shrouded daggers. Rapid strikes. And down at level 4, thrive in chaos. And it's got 4 faces on this, which says, treat the X on all dual wield skill dice you roll as 1 higher. So this goes in an active slot. Even to a value not available on the die. My God, it allows you to then build up potentially. You must resolve all results of all rolled skill die after an enemy is defeated on your turn, or if this die would be exhausted from your active slots during battle, drain this die. That's pretty cool. Let's have a look at assassination now. Okay, so we have level 1, mark target. Level 2, grim focus. And also killer's blade. And we flip that over to level 3. We have Teleport Strike. Place yourself in an occupied hex adjacent to any enemy inside. Then you may remove a stealth status die from your cooldown track or exhaust any available assassination skill die to deal up to 2 true damage to the enemy. Oh my god, so you're sneaking up and doing that. Then we've got Reaper's Mark. And we have Hemorrhage as the level 4 there. Deal 1 true damage to your target. You may drain any number of available assassination skill dice. Increase this true damage by 2 for each die you choose to drain this way. So that again allows you to do something a little bit more powerful as you drain die. This was a good one. Okay, so I definitely remember playing with this, which is the Adric Spear. Not a pop singer. Before rolling dice during an engage, if you gather at least 1 Adric Spear die and gather only Adric Spear and combat skill dice, you may change your target to any non-adjacent enemy as if you were in Magicka stance. So we have level 1, biting jabs. Level 2, Radiant Ward. And level 3, Piercing Javelin. And as we flip it over, on level 3 again, we have a Focus Charge. We have Spear Shards. And we also have Radial Sweep. Okay. A couple more left on this. We have Storm Calling. So this is a Magicka one. It says when resolving any Storm Calling die with the S code, place it on your adventurer chip. While this die is on your chip, its effect is active. At the start of your turn, all dice applied to you in this way are drained unless you resolve the cost to maintain them. When you're defeated at the end of the battle, the dice applied to you are recovered. Okay, right. So there's a cost to keep these dice, but they're going to stay active basically if they are the S type. We have level 1, Mage's Fury. I did play with the Adric Spear, and it was very interesting to play with. Level 2, we have Hurricane. Level 3, we have Lightning Flood. And as we flip it over, we have Ball of Lightning. To maintain this, you have to gain a Daze status die. We have Overload, and to maintain this, you have to gain 1 Over Fatigue. And then we have Critical Surge. So you can see they've got here we go on the others, you can see the maintenance costs here. On Hurricane, you've got to take a Light Fatigue, and on Lightning Flood, you have to lose a hit point. Right, so you've got to make sure you want to maintain that, you've got the hit points to do that. Finally, we've got Soul Magic. So I didn't play with this Carly from Board Game Buzz. Use Soul Magic and she used it to great effect. I think I was the vampire at this one as well. That's level 3 side, so let's look at level 1 side here. When the Soul Trap dice are placed in your active slots, they are called Soul Gems. You may choose to not exhaust dice at the end of a battle. Many Soul Magic dice have a bonus effect that may be resolved at the end of the engage. The effect cannot be resolved for a die that rolled Tenacity, and you cannot resolve the same bonus effect more than once in a single engage. So here we go, we've got Soul Trap. We've got Soul Lock. And we have Consuming Trap. And the bonus effect, exhaust a soul gem to deal true damage to your target equal to its attack stat. And on level 3, we have Soul Strike, which is a bonus effect of exhaust a soul gem to remove all status dice from one adventurous cooldown track. That's good if you've been overloaded with stuff. We have Soul Assault, which is a bonus effect of exhausting 2 soul gems to apply a fear status die to a targetable enemy. And then we have Soul Shatter, which is a bonus effect. Any number of soul gems, exhaust any number of soul gems, and for each soul gem exhausted, also deal the true damage from this dice to an additional targetable enemy. Wow, okay, fine. That's really, really, really good. So yeah, I think Carly used that to absolutely fantastic effect. So here are some of the dice then that you can see. So these are definitely the werewolf ones up here. I know that because you can see they've got the they've got the werewolf. We're just going out of focus. We've got the werewolf on there. Down here, we've got the vampire dice, and you can see we've got the feed die just there. I think the pink ones are the soul gem, I want to say. And then I can't remember what these are here. So that's one tray of dice. Then we have some others. I didn't play with all the classes, didn't play with all the characters, but you can see we have more wonderful dice. Excellent. Cool. Look, that's more or less everything. There were some other chips that are given with a particular card. I can't remember the name of this part of the expansion, though. And you're literally going to add... So we've got these... I can't remember what it's called. It's got some additional components, and you're going to put these into your game, basically, and it allows you to do things. And these are the chips for it just here, okay? It says at the start of the campaign, add this level 3... add the 3 level 1 to 5 Watchling stroke Hush chips to the 1 to 5 enemy bag, and the 3 level 10 to 20 Seeker Lurker chips into the 10 to 20 bag. After a Watchling, Hush Seeker or Lurker is defeated, remove it from the game. Any of these enemies that remain in an enemy bag at the end of the session remain in the respective bag for the next session. And it says here, when a Watchling, Hush Seeker or Lurker would deploy, resolve enemy skill reward as if it had been defeated, then remove it from the game and deploy a new enemy in its place. When a Watchling, Hush, Seeker or Lurker is defeated, do not resolve any enemy skill reward. Right, specific kind of rules for this. I can't remember what this is called. It's in the campaign update. And here are some of the chips. So we can see we've got the level 1 Watchling and the level 5 Hushed. Shh, it's not there. Hiding. We got a level 10 Seeker, and we got a level 20 Lurker. There we go. And then I think the only other thing to show you is, because they're all the same, so this is for the assassin, I think it is, yeah. We have the unmarked target, health of 7, combat dice 2, defense of 3, range of 2. And then we have the marked target, health of 6, combat dice 2, defense dice 1, and a range of 2. Excellent. And that's more or less everything that we had to see on our, and they let us come away with on our visit to Chip Theory Games to look at the new Heroes of Tamriel campaign. And hopefully, you know, you've been able to pause the video in the right kind of spots to kind of look at and read some of that information. You've got a better idea of what to expect. There we go. Now, there's lots more that's been kind of unveiled and stretch goals, etc., throughout the campaign itself. So you need to go and check out the Gamefound page and say, you know, it will be open for late pledge after the initial campaign closes. You don't need me to tell you how much I love this game. It will almost be wrong for me to tell you how much I love this game to try and get you to either buy it or buy more stuff. There are absolutely loads of videos and reviews out there about the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. It is a big and expensive game to get into, and it's, you know, it's going to be an expensive game to continue being into. I do know that they've got the kind of trove chest thing, it's guild chest or something like that it's called, which looks utterly fantastic as well. But again, costs a pretty penny. You know, it's the usual kind of wonderful Chip Theory production values across everything. And for me, the core gameplay is absolutely key on this. I have a fantastic time with the Elder Scrolls whenever I get it out. I think it's just utterly, utterly wonderful, and I wouldn't not have put over 100 hours into it, or well over 100 hours into it, if I didn't like the game. Not to say it isn't for you, but I hope this gave you a good overview on some of the stuff that you can get in the Heroes of Tamriel and all the other kind of expansions that have been they're on Gamefound at the moment and will be up in the subsequent Pledge Manager. So there we go. That's it. That's all I got to show you on this. No gameplay, just close up on the cards and what I saw and what I was allowed to come back with. And I know a lot more has been released since then in these stretch goals. So thank you very much for joining me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it informative. I hope it kind of answered some of your questions about the various skill lines, etc. And yeah, if you enjoy the Elder Scrolls, or if it's been kind of scratching an itch for you, then go and check out the campaign or the Pledge Manager, because, you know, there's a lot to explore there. My name's Mark. This is Not Board Gaming. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos. And one final thought. If you can't find anyone else to play with, then there's nothing wrong with playing with yourselves. Until next time, bye-bye.